Have you ever been with a man and felt that even when things are physically amazing, something is missing? Like, he's there, he's close, he's in your arms, but somehow you can feel a distance, a wall between you. You want him to feel everything, to feel connected, to feel loved, to feel that spark that makes him think about you all the time. And the truth is, most women miss a crucial piece of intimacy, the emotional side of love. Here's the secret most people never tell you. Men want emotional connection just as much as physical passion. They want to feel seen, understood, and desired, but in a way that goes deeper than skin, deep attraction. Emotional intimacy is what keeps him thinking about you long after the night is over. It's what makes him crave you, not just your body, but your energy, your presence, your mind, your heart. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. I'm going to give you 5 key ways to make love to a man emotionally, to make him feel everything when he's with you, so that the connection between you is electric, unforgettable, and addictive in the best possible way. This isn't about manipulation. It isn't about tricks. It's about learning how to unlock his heart, how to make him feel safe, wanted, and deeply connected to you. And yes, that emotional bond will make every touch, every kiss, every glance feel more intense, more powerful, more magnetic. Imagine a man who isn't just physically present with you, but mentally and emotionally consumed by you. A man who opens up, shares his fears and dreams, and leaves you feeling closer than you ever thought possible. That's what we're going to create. And the best part, once you master this, intimacy will never feel shallow again. You'll learn to ignite passion, make him feel truly desired, and connect in a way that's sexy, deep, and utterly irresistible. So if you're ready to go beyond the physical, to make him crave your presence, and to feel emotionally connected in a way that turns ordinary moments into unforgettable experiences, stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to make love to a man in a way he's never forgotten, and the emotional connection you create will leave him coming back for more. Here's the first secret to making love to a man emotionally: make him feel seen and appreciated. And I don't mean the kind of scene where you glance at him across the table and say, "Yeah, I noticed you got a haircut." I mean truly deeply seeing him, because most men, even the confident, successful, seemingly put together ones, walk around every day feeling invisible. They're expected to be strong, to handle their problems alone, to carry burdens without complaint. Society tells them, don't be too emotional, don't show weakness, just get on with it. Now imagine how powerful it feels for him when you cut through all of that and show him, I see you, I notice what you do, and I appreciate you for it. That, ladies, is emotional seduction. When a man feels that you're not just attracted to his body, not just into his looks or the way he kisses, but that you actually admire who he is at his core. He melts. And he doesn't just melt in the moment, he starts to crave being around you, because you become the one person who makes him feel recognized in a world that often overlooks him. Think about it. How often do men get compliments beyond the surface? Women are used to hearing things like, "You look gorgeous, your dress," "You're stunning." Men, they rarely hear, "I love how passionate you are about your work. I admire the way you handled that tough situation. I love how protective you are of the people you care about." These kinds of words don't just stroke his ego, they feed his soul. And when you feed a man's soul, you're making love to him emotionally. But it's not just about words, it's about presence. When he's telling you about something that matters to him, even if it's a hobby you don't fully understand or a work project you can't relate to, lean in. Ask questions. Show interest. Smile when he lights up. That energy you give tells him, what matters to you matters to me. And trust me, that will bond him to you in ways no physical touch ever could. Here's another secret: appreciation turns into desire. When you admire his qualities, he feels safe to open up. When he opens up, you create intimacy. And when there's intimacy, the passion between you becomes electric. You're no longer just touching his skin, you're touching his identity, his essence, the deepest part of who he is. And that is what makes a man not just want you in bed, but want you in his life. Let me give you a playful example. Let's say he fixes something around the house, or maybe he makes you laugh when you're stressed. Instead of just saying, "Thanks," try this, look him in the eye and say, "God, I love how you always know how to make things better." Do you feel the difference? That statement doesn't just acknowledge the act, it acknowledges him. And that acknowledgement is unforgettable. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you're with him, notice something about him that goes beyond the surface. Catch him doing something thoughtful, or pay attention to a quality that makes him unique, and tell him, not in a casual way, but in a way that makes it clear you mean it. Watch how his eyes soften, how his shoulders relax, how he looks at you like you just unlocked a door no one else has ever opened. Because here's the truth: when you make a man feel seen and appreciated, you're not just boosting his confidence, you're giving him permission to connect with you emotionally. And that's the first step in making love to his heart, his mind, and his soul. And ladies, when you master this, he won't just desire you physically, he'll crave the way you make him feel. And that craving is what will keep him coming back again and again. Now let's talk about one of the most underestimated ways to make love to a man emotionally touch. But before your mind goes straight to the bedroom, let me tell you something important. Emotional touch isn't just physical, it's psychological. It's not about the mechanics of where your hand goes, but how you touch him when you touch him and the intention behind it. See, most women think touch is only about turning him on, but here's the secret: a man's body may respond instantly to physical touch, but his heart only responds when that touch is infused with presence and emotion. That's when a simple gesture, a hand on his arm, fingers brushing against his cheek, feels unforgettable. Think about the difference between a quick pat on the back versus a slow, intentional touch on his chest while you look into his eyes. The first is polite. The second, that makes his heart skip because it communicates. I'm with you, I feel you, and I'm right here. Touch has layers. A playful touch when you're tasing him. A reassuring touch when he's stressed. A lingering touch when you want him to know you're thinking about him. Each one sends a different message. And when you master this language, you're not just making contact with his skin, you're creating an emotional current that runs straight to his heart. Here's a little truth, Bombsy. Men crave affectionate touch just as much as women, but they don't often admit it. Society doesn't exactly encourage men to walk around saying, I just wish someone would hold me, but deep down they long for that kind of closeness. When you offer it without him having to ask, you give him something he secretly craves but rarely gets. For example, imagine you're walking together and you slide your hand into his, not because you have to, but because you want to. Or maybe you're sitting on the couch and instead of scrolling on your phone, you lean against him, resting your head on his shoulder, letting him feel your warmth. These tiny touches might seem small, but to him, they say, your mind, I'm connected to you. I choose to be close. Another powerful way to use touch emotionally is in moments of vulnerability. Let's say he's had a hard day. Instead of jumping straight into advice or solutions, just reach over, squeeze his hand, or rub his back gently. That silent comfort tells him, you don't have to carry this alone. I'm here with you. And trust me, that moment of tenderness goes straight to his soul. Here's where it gets even sexier. Combine touch with words. Whisper something in his ear as you wrap your arms around him. Place your hand on his chest and tell him you love how strong he is, not just physically, but in how he shows up for the people he cares about. This fusion of words and touch creates an emotional cocktail that bonds him to you in ways he won't forget. Now, a little warning touch without presence is just touch. If you're distracted, if your mind is somewhere else, he'll feel it. Emotional touch requires you to slow down, be present, and pour intention into it. That's what makes it powerful. Ladies, remember this. Emotional touch isn't about quantity, it's about quality. You don't need to constantly be all over him. But when you choose your moments, when your touch is deliberate, meaningful, and infused with affection, you transform something ordinary into something magnetic. So here's your challenge tonight. When you see him, don't just greet him with words, greet him with presence, a long hug, a soft kiss on his cheek, a hand that lingers just a second longer than usual. Notice how he reacts. Notice how his energy shifts. You'll see it in his eyes, in his body language, because suddenly he's not just being touched, he's being loved. And when you master the art of touch, you're not just connecting with his body, you're creating a bridge straight to his emotions. And that, ladies, is where the real intimacy begins. If you truly want to make love to a man emotionally, here's a truth most people overlook. He needs to feel safe with you. And when I say safe, I don't mean physically safe. I'm talking about emotionally safe, the kind of safety where he feels he can be vulnerable without being judged, mocked, or dismissed. The kind where he can show you sides of himself that he hides from everyone else. The fears, the insecurities, the soft spots. Here's the thing men are often taught to armor up. They're told to be strong, tough, the provider, the protector. And while that's admirable, it can also make them feel like they have no space to just be human. So when a man meets a woman who allows him to drop that armor, even for a moment, she becomes unforgettable. Because in her presence, he feels a freedom he doesn't feel anywhere else. Think about it like this: emotional safety is the bedrock of intimacy. Without it, passion may flare, but it doesn't last. With it, passion grows deeper because he trusts that with you, he can be fully himself. And ladies, that's when you stop being just the woman he's attracted. You become the woman he can't live without. So how do you create this kind of safety? The first step is listening without judgment. When he opens up, even if it's something small like frustrations at work, or something deeper like fears about his future, resist the urge to correct, criticize, or roll your eyes. Instead, lean in, nod. Say, that must be hard. Those little gestures of understanding tell him, it's okay to share with me. The second step is staying calm in conflict. nothing destroys emotional safety faster than explosive reactions. If every time he admits a mistake or expresses a fear, it turns into a fight, he'll shut down. But if you can stay grounded, even when the topic is uncomfortable, you show him, I'm not here to attack you, I'm here to understand you. And that is incredibly powerful. Third, celebrate his vulnerability. When he lets his guard down, don't just quietly move past it. Appreciate it. Say, I love that you trust me with this, or it means a lot that you shared that with me. That acknowledgement reinforces the idea that his vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's a strength that brings you closer. Now let me be clear, creating emotional safety doesn't mean babying him or pretending he's flawless. It means giving him a space where he feels respected, valued, and accepted even in his imperfections. Because ladies, men aren't looking for a perfect woman, they're looking for a woman who makes them feel they don't have to be perfect around her. Here's a little visualization. Imagine he's been carrying heavy armor all day. At work, with friends, in public, he's constantly guarded. But when he's with you, he finally gets to take it off. He exhales, he relaxes, he feels lighter. That feeling, that relief is addictive. And that's why emotional safety is one of the sexiest gifts you can give him. And yes, let's talk about how this translates into intimacy. When a man feels emotionally safe, he lets go more. He's present with you. He doesn't hold back. That means when you're together, it's not just about physical pleasure, it's about trust, connection, and surrender. He can give himself to you fully because he knows his heart is safe in your hands. So here's my challenge. Pay attention to the little moments where you can build safety. When he shares, listen. When he struggles, support. When he opens up, honor it. Over time, you'll see him soften, open, and connect in ways you never thought possible. Because at the end of the day, creating emotional safety isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. And when you become the woman who makes him feel safe to be fully himself, you're not just making love to his body, you're making love to his soul. Here's the next secret to making love to a man emotionally: learn to speak his love language. Because here's the truth, every man has a different way he feels loved. And often the mistake we make in relationships is assuming that what makes us feel cherished is the same thing that makes him feel cherished. But love doesn't work like that. It's not one size fits all. Dr. Gary Chapman's famous concept of the 5 love languages is more than just a relationship buzzword. It's a real life map to a man's heart. Those 5 languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and physical touch. And while every man values all of these to some degree, 1 or 2 usually dominate his emotional wiring. Now here's why this matters. When you learn to identify his love language and speak it fluently, you're not just showing affection, you're showing him, I understand you in ways no one else does. That's emotional intimacy on steroids. Let's break it down. If his love language is words of affirmation, he comes alive when you speak life into him. Tell him, I'm proud of you, or I love how you handled that situation. Whisper in his ear, you drive me crazy, in the best way. Compliments, encouragement, appreciation, when spoken sincerely, become fuel for his confidence and his desire. If his love language is acts of service, he feels loved when you do something thoughtful for him. Maybe you make him his favorite meal after a long day, or you take care of a small task he's been putting off. It's not about spoiling him. It's about showing, I see you, I care, and I want to make your life easier. For him, these gestures hit emotionally stronger than words ever could. If his love language is gifts, it doesn't mean he's materialistic. It means he values the thought behind the gesture. A handwritten note slipped into his pocket, a book you picked because it reminded you of him, or even a silly little inside joke gift. These tokens tell him, I think about you when you're not around. That's emotional gold. If his love language is quality time, then presence is everything. Put away the phone, look him in the eye, and give him your undivided attention. Plan little adventures together, or just spend an evening talking without distractions. For him, your time is your love. The more intentional you are with it, the deeper he feels connected. And finally, if his love language is physical touch, then affection is his gateway to emotional intimacy. This isn't just about sex, about casual touches throughout the day. Holding his hand, kissing him unexpectedly, curling up next to him. For him, those small gestures scream, I love you, I'm here with you. And now here's the sexy part. When you figure out his love language and combine it with emotional connection, you become irresistible, because suddenly you're not just loving him in the way you know how, you're loving him in the way that reaches his core. That's what makes him feel truly seen, valued, and desired. Here's a little tip. Don't just guess his love language, observe it. Notice how he tries to love you. If he's constantly complimenting you, chances are he values words of affirmation. If he always wants to cuddle, it's probably physical touch. If he spends his time fixing things for you, maybe it's acts of service. People often give love in the way they want to receive it. And here's your challenge. Once you figure it out, lean into it, speak it consistently. Surprise him by loving him in the exact way that makes his heart race. Watch how he lights up, how his guard drops, how he looks at you like you just unlocked a secret key to his soul. Because here's the truth, ladies, when you speak his love language, you're not just communicating, you're connecting. And that connection is what transforms ordinary intimacy into extraordinary passion. Emotional intimacy isn't something you achieve once and then forget about. It's not a box you check off or a milestone you pass. It's more like a living, breathing garden. And just like a garden, it needs tending regularly, gently, and with consistency. Without care, flowers wilt, the soil hardens, and the weeds begin to take over. In relationships, inconsistency can act like those weeds, slowly choking out trust and connection until you wake up one day and wonder where the closeness went. Think back to when you first fell in love. There was effort, daily effort. Texts were replied to quickly, calls were made even when you were busy, compliments flowed naturally, and dates were planned with care. Over time, however, many couples let life's responsibilities, work, kids, bills, stress take center stage. The effort begins to fade, not because love has gone, but because the consistency has. Consistency is the foundation that makes emotional intimacy sustainable. It's not about grand gestures or expensive surprises. It's about the little repeated actions that send a clear message. You matter to me. I'm here not just today, but every day. Imagine a partner who showers you with affection one week, then withdraws the next. The push and pull create uncertainty. Your heart begins to question, can I count on this person? On the other hand, a partner who shows up with steady words, regular touch, and dependable actions builds a sense of safety. That safety is the soil where intimacy grows strongest. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. Nobody expects you to always have the right words or never get tired. What it does mean is being reliable in your presence, your care, and your effort. Even small rituals can carry incredible power. To kiss on the forehead before leaving for work. Asking how was your day and really listening. Sending a quick thank you message at lunch. Holding hands while walking to the grocery store. These aren't dramatic acts, but when repeated, they weave a strong emotional fabric. They tell your partner, I don't just love you in the big moments, I love you in the ordinary, daily rhythm of life. Consistency also builds trust during conflict. Every couple argues, disagreements are natural, but when you consistently choose to resolve issues, respect instead of silence, with kindness instead of cruelty, you create a pattern of safety. Your partner learns that even when storms come, they can trust you not to abandon the ship. Think of emotional intimacy like a bank account. Every consistent act of love is a deposit. Missed promises, neglect, or hot and cold behavior or withdrawals. The balance only grows strong when deposits are made regularly. And the richer that account, the more resilience your relationship has when challenges strike. Many relationships fade not because of betrayal, but because of neglect. Partners stop checking in, stop touching, stop being curious about each other's inner world. But here's the truth, consistency doesn't demand hours every day. It simply asks for presence. Show up daily, even in small ways, and your intimacy will not just survive, it will thrive. At its heart, consistency is about making love a verb, not just a feeling. Feelings rise and fall, but actions repeated steadily anchor the bond. When your partner knows they can rely on your words, your touch, and your presence day after day, emotional intimacy blossoms into something unshakable. So ask yourself this, what small act of love can I commit to today and tomorrow and the next day? Because when you choose consistency, you're not just building intimacy for the moment, you're building a love that lasts a lifetime. Emotional intimacy is not a mystery reserved for fairy tales or the lucky few. It is built slowly, intentionally, and consistently by ordinary people who choose every single day to invest in love. It's in the way you listen, the way you speak, the way you touch, and the way you simply show up. And when you nurture, emotional intimacy becomes the glue that holds relationships together through both sunshine and storms. So I want to leave you with this challenge. Don't just listen to these words, live them tonight. Instead of reaching for your phone, reach for your partner's hand. Tomorrow morning, look into their eyes a little longer and say, I'm grateful for you. Next week, create a ritual, big or small, that reminds both of you that your bond is worth protecting. Because love that is consistently expressed and deeply felt does more than make life sweeter. It makes life stronger. If you've ever wondered why some couples grow closer while others grow apart, the difference is rarely luck. It's effort, it's the courage to be vulnerable, the patience to understand, and the decision to stay consistent even when life gets busy. And that choice, that daily commitment is in your hands right now. So I ask you, will you let your relationship drift on autopilot, or will you take the wheel and steer it toward deeper love? Connection and intimacy start today, start small, and never underestimate the power of showing up again and again with love. Because when you do, you're not just building intimacy, you're building a forever.